Hi, everybody. This is Minette Kennedy with Humanities Team in the Evolution Revolution, and we are reading The Only Thing That Matters by Neale Walsch on this 8th of August, 2021. And let's get started. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is.
So Mary, you're saying that we're really on chapter 18, the map?
That is what I am saying.
Okay, all right. When my computer rebooted, it did not bring me there, but that's okay. I will start here. So that's page 95. So that makes it 42% through the book. So we're still don't need to worry. Okay, chapter 18 of The Only Thing That Matters, which is Conversations with Humanity, book 2 by Neale Walsch, the map. And so we come to the bottom line. Having looked at life and its divine purpose, having described in metaphor the sacred journey, having explained in detail the agenda of the soul, and having defined the very nature of the totality of you, we arrive at the question with which our exploration began. What is the only thing that matters? The answer will form the foundation of every day, every hour, every minute of your life. This answer will impact everything you think and say and do. This answer will affect the quality of your life from morning till night. This answer will determine how successful you are and what you define as success. This answer will determine how healthy you are and what you define as health. This answer will determine how loved you are and how loving you are and what you define as love. This answer will literally create your relationships, both your intimate, romantic relationships and your relationships with family, friends, and everybody in your exterior world. This answer will produce what you do to make a living and what you do to make a life. This answer will affect how you spend time with those you care for and what you do when you are alone. This answer will affect everything, your entire life, from this moment until the moment you die, and will even affect how you die. The only thing that matters is so important that everything else pales by comparison to it, shrinks to irrelevance in the face of it, and is probably only in place to begin with because of it. Your entire past is a reflection of the only thing that matters, and your entire future will be created by it. So here it is. In this life on earth, this is the only thing that matters. What one desires. Now, that may not be at all what you expected. Yet one's commitment to always and evermore seek to announce and declare, to know and express, to experience and fulfill only what one desires, lies at the core of your ability to serve the agenda of the soul, to reach completion on the sacred journey, and to achieve the divine purpose. Your decision to do this is the most powerful decision you will ever make. And what renders it more critical than it might at first appear is the fact that it is not a decision you make once and then live with. It is a decision that you make every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Indeed, you have been making this decision since you were old enough to think about it. But you have probably been thinking about it in the wrong way. And that is what part 3 of this book is all about. It is about what one desires, and what that really means. Get ready. It's not what you think. Part 3. Shall we pause?
I couldn't get off mute. Does anybody have anything I want to say about this, or should we go ahead and continue? Oh, by my powers of seeing the anonymous.
Continue. Continue.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay. Part 3. A description of what it looks like to walk the path of the soul, and an offering of extraordinary tools for focusing the entirety of your life on the only thing that matters. Chapter 19. Should one really spend a lifetime catering only to one's desire? Dear friend, if you jumped ahead to part 3, you will need to at least go back a few page turns, and read the last chapter. If you came to this place in the text by way of reading all of part 2, you know now that the only thing that matters is what one desires. Yet could this possibly be true? Is it really our conclusion after this long and deep exploration into the most important thing in life, that the most important thing in life is one's own desires? Yes, it could be true, and it is true. Furthermore, most people already know this. The problem is not that people don't know that the only thing that matters is what one desires, but that they have been thinking about it in the wrong way. Most people think that focusing on what one desires means focusing on themselves. It means just the opposite. Yet how could any of us know this when everything in our culture, in our upbringing, and in our social interactions has led us straight to massive misunderstanding? Even those who have rejected modern society's orthodoxy of bigger, better, more stepped aside from its indoctrinations and eschewed its traditions and conventions by turning to alternative lifestyles and beliefs, have heard from the mouths of their new teachers, ministers, and healers the exact same message. You can have everything you desire by using the power within you. It's true. Have you seen the movie? There's a movie made about this subject not long ago. It was all about how we can use a fundamental law of the universe, the creative energy that calls itself the law of attraction, to magnetize and attract to ourselves anything that our hearts desire, and about how this power has largely been kept secret from us for thousands of years by those few who knew about it. A soul knowing the only thing that matters is what one desires. At last, the film proclaims this formula has been revealed, and now everyone can have what one desires. And what is it that was depicted as what one desires? The film shows a man walking to his driveway and finding the car he has dreamt of owning. A woman blinking in delighted surprise as a bejeweled necklace appears like magic on her bodice. Even a small boy ecstatic at his discovery of a shiny new bicycle outside the front door, waiting just for him. Not a word about how, if we truly have all this power, we could produce world peace, or end global hunger, or heal planetary suffering. Not a word. And it's not the filmmakers' fault. They were merely reflecting the priorities of humanity's culture. These have become the priorities of our so-called New Age. This is the culture into which most of us have been thrust and which most of us continue to be submerged. Small wonder we are confused about the only thing that matters. Now comes a book by the very title, offering to help end our confusion, yet attempting to do so by telling us one more time what everyone has been telling us all along. The only thing that matters is what one desires. But wait, hold it. There's more. There's more to be said here about what one desires. At higher levels of consciousness, those three words take you on a much deeper meaning. When you are fully awake, you find that what one desires refers not to your personal desires, but to the desires of the one. Then, at even higher levels of consciousness, you find that the two are one and the same. Your personal desires and the desires of the one are identical. The one, yes, the one. All things are one thing. There is only one thing, and all things are a part of the one thing there is. This one thing has been called many names. It has been called life. It has been called existential essence. It has been called the energy. It has been called Allah, Brahma, divinity, Elohim, God, Jehovah, and a host of other names as well. It does not matter what name you use. It is the only thing there is, and you are a part of it. Because you are an integral part of it, it is only natural that you would want at the heart of your being is what you want at the heart of your being is what it wants at the core of its existence. For the purposes of the discussion here, we've been referring to the one thing there is with the word divinity and occasionally with the word God. Divinity has only one desire, and that is to experience itself fully through the complete knowing and expression of itself. Life is its achievement of exactly that. No particular part of life, but all of life put together. It is the sum and the substance of life, aggregately, collectively, collaboratively, that is the experience of divinity at the level of completion. Completion is achieved by each aspect of divinity achieving its particular expression in fullness. Divinity empowers divinity to produce this result. That is to say, life empowers life to produce more life and to express life in fullness, because the expression of life in fullness is divinity's desire. That is your desire too. From the earliest days of your infancy to the breath you took a moment ago, that has been your yearning, your dream, and your goal. And now that you remember this, it seems obvious to you. It seems obvious too that there is no difference between your innermost yearning and the desire of God. God's desire is implanted in your soul, which is the aspect of your being that is the essential essence, the part of you that carries the divine impulse throughout this lifetime, and indeed through all lifetimes. The soul is also the aspect of you that remembers this. It never forgets. It cannot forget because it is the memory itself. And so the soul is constantly aware of all there is to know throughout eternity. Your mind, on the other hand, is simply a storehouse of present life experiences. A soul knowing. Completion is achieved by each aspect of divinity achieving its particular expression in fullness. All of this has been explained before in separate parts of this exploration. We know it is being brought together now in a way that hopefully allows the final puzzle piece to fit. If what one desires is known by the soul, and if what your experience tells you that you should desire is held in the mind, then the challenge and the invitation of life is to bring the two together, with the soul informing the mind, expanding the mind, enlarging the database of the mind, so that the mechanics of reality creation produce a new and grander experience of who you are. This is the special invitation you are receiving in this moment. You are being invited to allow what one desires to become your desire consciously. You are being invited to turn what you know conceptually into what you experience functionally. A way to do this is to make what one desires your new mantra, so that each time your mind is confronted with any exterior perplexing circumstance or event and seeks to formulate a response, you can call upon yourself to remember not what the mind alone wants, but what the soul and the mind together urge, so that the totality of you can choose to express and experience what one desires. This is another way. This is but another way of declaring, not my will, but thine. End of chapter.
Thank you. That was a good chapter, and I underlined, of course, I don't know what page it is because I'm using my Kindle, but it's just a couple pages back before a soul knowing completion is achieved by each aspect of divinity achieving its particular expression to fullness. And I never thought about this until I read this paragraph about the soul is also the aspect of you that remembers that it never remembers this. It never forgets, it cannot forget because it is the memory itself. And so the soul is constantly aware of all there is to know throughout eternity. Your mind, on the other hand, is a simple storehouse of present life experiences. Well, this seems like good news to me because as I've gotten older, I seem to forget a lot. And if I would remember that I could count on my soul, and if it's necessary for me to remember it, I will remember it. And some of you know, I was raised in the Catholic Church, and my parents were, I would call, mystic Catholics. They were not heavy-handed, but they believed in ritual and that kind of thing. And they used to, when they would lose something, they would call on St. Anthony. And my mother, with all of her heart, would say, St. Anthony, I really need to find this pair of scissors. I just bought them. They were expensive. Please help me find them. And then normally within 10 or 15 minutes, the missing item would be found. And kind of a funny thing, she didn't find them for about 5 days, and on the second day, she buried St. Anthony in the backyard. She was so mad. And she unburied him and she found visitors. But I think the idea of realizing that all of our knowledge exists in the soul is a very pleasing idea, which I actually believe. So, over.
I agree with you, Nanette, that that's a comforting idea. The thing that struck me in this chapter was when it hit, you know, what one desires versus what I desire as we're reading along. And then I thought, oh, so what does one desire as my aspect of one? So I thought, you know, equality, justice, fairness. And then I thought about, then my job is to bring those aspects into my life. And then I thought about how I just need to speak more lovingly sometimes, basically. Like if I want to bring into, you know, this dimension of heaven on earth, if that's what I want to create here, heaven on earth for me, then my aspect of what one desires definitely needs to be expressed with a more loving manner. Like I need to remember to just, what would love say? What would love do? I try, but you know, I get heated and stuff. And that was what came through for me a lot in this chapter, was just remembering for me to bring to the party what I want there to be at the party. And that's, you know, love and respect and those values. So that was my big aha.
Anybody else? Anne?
Okay, I could say something. To walk the path of the soul. So that's what we're here for. Because there's only one, and it's like a wheel. We're like the spoke of one, of the one. We're all a unity. And I've been reading, or I've been watching some YouTube videos on how the Nazi regime got its power. And then I start investigating a little more. And then I understand just something today, that what was said is what's necessary is to disconnect humanity from the soul, from their soul. And I'm going to say something that I believe, because it's the area I work in, that's what is being attempted with what is being inflicted on us and the enforced remedy. And that's how I see what's being done, a disconnection from our soul, which is what we're here for, which is the only one, the only thing that matters. I really understand it, actually. I really understand it now. I'm getting more, I'm really getting it. I think it's a privilege to live. What a privilege to live, to be able to express from our own being divinity. What a wonder, what a beautiful thing. And how precious it is not to be disconnected from our soul. because that's our desire. They have an individual, a point of your soul seat, and it's in the center of your chest here, which is kind of where your heart's desire. I think that's beautiful. Thank you.
I think what you said was beautiful, and it just feels good. It feels right. Romy, were you going to say something? You're on mute.
Okay, I think it's now better. But what I just recognize for myself, exactly this subject will a little bit more left and a little bit more right. It crosses my path since the last 3 days. And when I was outside in the nature on my bike, then even I met some of my power animals, the fox. And I'm just surprised how intense life is gonna ask me, that I'm really positioning myself and I'm really going through and say, okay, that's my sole purpose I'm going for. And yeah, and to bring it out. And I think life will always showing up and help us and assist us in this way. Over.
It's a good point, and I agree.
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Yes, I'm thinking about reading all these books. Then when we read this, there are very clear how to do this. But I'm thinking, why is God making all this process so that it's not easy to do this? That to know, we can say that the only thing is to know ourselves. But how to know ourselves? Turn inside and know how to express. Every morning I get up, from these books of Neale and Walsch, I said, I want to be expression that I'm good, that I'm compassion, and so on, so on. It is written in one book of this Neale Donald Walsch. Then I said, I want to be with God. One, I want to be perfect knowing, and all this. I don't. For me, it's a little bit hard to say it in English because I read these books in Croatia. But I said this every morning, and I set my intention. I want to realize the God. This is my intention, not everything else, but God. How can I serve, and so on. But why is this so difficult? It's difficult in one lifetime, and so in 1,000 lifetimes. Why is so difficult? Because I know God said, if we all know God, we'll finish the career of God. What is this so difficult? I want to know to go. I want to be perfect love, but I'm not perfect love. Why is so difficult? Think about this. We are thinking about this, and people who don't think about this, maybe it's more difficult. Oh,
Thank you. That definitely put a smile on my face, and I appreciate what you were saying.
I mean, I think it's to do with the conflict that arises because of the illusion of separation, right? When we remember the one, and that what one desires is the whole of it all, it's easy. But when we forget that and become focused on the housing, and as Linda would remind us, the housing has its own wants, needs, and desires. And those are often in conflict with the one, because the housing is concerned with survival, and therefore fear is a huge driver of what the housing wants. That's what I see as the answer that I understand as to the question of why it's so hard when it feels like, when you read something like this, it feels like it's the most natural thing. And it is when we're in the right mindset of the one and reality of that reality, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to make a comment?
I'll just say, good job, Mary.
Good
Thank
job,
you,
Mary.
Linda. I thought I'm doing Linda's job.
When we used to call Linda Lindapedia because somebody would ask a question, say, well, you know, and they would be talking about what the subject matter of the book, and then they go, but I can't remember the blah blah blah, and Linda would go, well, I just happen to know that. And anyway, and I'm really excited about something that I'm going to throw out here to you all. That's just amazing. At Humanities Team, we're doing this humanities stream thing. It's sort of like transformational education Netflix, you know. And I'm one of the people that goes through and watches the videos to look for errors or sound, you know, any technical thing. But I listened to Greg Braden the other day, or watched his video that he's doing for, I believe it's for Global Oneness Day. I think though that this is going to be one of those teasers, and Global Oneness Day is October 24th every year. And you don't pay for it. It's on Humanities Team, and it's to be a day about oneness. Well, there was another video I watched too with another scientist named Hassim. I can't think of his last name right now. Anyway, Hassim is from the Middle East, but he lives here in the US. And he's a physicist, and Greg Braden is a geologist. And they were talking about how very close they are to fully proving that we're all one through science. And it absolutely blew me out of the water that I could be so riveted by scientific talk, because that's not really it's not I wouldn't pick up a book about science, let me put it that way. But one of the things that was said was, we've all heard that, and I am trying to tie this back to this soul thing here. We've all heard about when the drop of the ocean also carries the entire ocean in that drop. And the way it was explained was that we need to remember that our universe, we are the atoms in our body, and they had a number, some trillion number of atoms in our body. If you took one of those atoms out of us, it would do this mathematical equation that would include everybody here on this call, this meeting, and include everybody on the planet, because it's only a drop from the ocean, but it contains the entire ocean. And we contain the entire universe. And when I think about what Neale is saying, something similar, but not using the scientific terms, but I will let you all know as soon as it's available for you guys to watch because it blew me out of the water. And it's something I think is, I didn't, a hologram. This is amazing. You know, like on your credit cards, there's a little hologram. If you cut your credit card across that hologram, whatever the picture is, you'll have two of those pictures. If you cut it in 4 pieces, it's not a cut up piece, it's replicas of, let's say they have the earth. And so you can't cut us up. You can't. You cannot cut us up. We will still be all one. And that soul, that kind of reminded me of some things they were talking about with the soul. And you cut that soul in half, it's still two souls, you know, and they all belong to the one. And I found it very, very interesting because I don't listen to other stuff a lot. And I thought it was interesting that I was reading, I kept thinking, you know, what would Nassim Harriman and Greg Braden think about this. And they do it with math. Okay, I've run off the topic. But anyway, I just kept thinking of the soul and how I can go to my soul, and my soul's got it all in me. And it's our soul. Over.
Nanette, there's some science that has occurred even before what they're doing. Like they're finding new ways to show that everything's one. But quite a while ago, what they discovered was that if you take anything, it doesn't matter what it is, a piece of anything, and put it under the strongest microscope that they have, it looks the same as anything else. And so that was that's when science first had that aha moment, as far as I understand, right? And so from there, then, that's what's led them to all of this additional inquiry and searching for the answers. But that's what I always go back to, is everything's made of the exact same stuff. It doesn't matter what. And that's where your proof is that we're all one, because we all look identical when put under that microscope.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it could have been Albert Einstein, from watching this video, who believed what I was just talking about. But because he was a scientist, and most scientists want to be able to put it into a mathematical equation. And Nassim Harrison is like over the moon that he was able to do this mathematical equation that equaled we're all one. And the name of this program is called Forbidden Science. And I think it's the perfect name for it, because a lot of people will say, hooey.
What was it, Nanette? I couldn't quite catch it. What kind of science?
Forbidden science.
Forbidden science.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry I did get off a little bit off the track there, but I was so excited. Bad me. Somebody else want to say anything?
Mirko's got his hand.
Yes.
Mirko wants to.
The thing that I am, excuse me for my English, I'm trying to put it in simple terms. The thing that I have my attention on is the part when chapter 18 says this answer, the only thing that matters, this answer will determine how successful you are and what you define as success. This, for my personal opinion, is the most important part of these two chapters, because every day and every minute we are in this pursuing of success. So we have to be successful, but the chapter say that what one desire is the only thing that matters. So what one desire is what is a success for this book, and also for me. But we are living in a society where success is not what one desire. This is what I see, because we decided that there are winners and there are losers. This is the reality in which I live. But it is not what I believe. So success probably is what I have, all that I have learned from my teaching figure like my mother, my father, society, is to win, to be the first in all things that don't matter. This is the problem. The problem is that success for our society is not what this book is showing us. This is my, not to be negative, because the book say in the beginning of the book, Neale wrote that the function of life is to place challenge before us. So we are here to have challenge. The fun is to have challenge, but all the things for me are the good news is every chapter has a good news for me. The good news is that we are a three-part being, as the book explained very well: mind, body, and soul. And the soul has already been where the mind and the body are trying to go. This is a good news, because it means that we have only to stay more connected, to find the connection between the mind and the soul, and we always have the solution to everything. This is a good news. Now, in these days, this statement that what one desire is success, in other words, is a great challenge, because if you look, for example, in sports, all what we are watching is someone who is winning, and all the others are losers. And the winner has all the glory, the money, but my question is, if we are 8 billion people and only 1 or 2 have to win, where is the sense is nonsense. This kind, we are living in a nonsense world. This is the problem that it's a good thing that we are talking about this, but this is not success, because if I, for example, if I have success, but all of you are losers, I'm not very happy. I think that I am the loser. This is, I have talked a lot, I think, but you understand what I mean. So
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
the challenge is
Yes.
today for me is to change our mind and connecting with the soul, because the soul has already been where the mind is trying to go. So it means that the soul has already, our soul, mine and your, has already been in the success, is already successful. So we are, we don't need to be successful. This is the ultimate truth. We don't need success.
Yes.
I think we can also see it from the other side, Mirko, or whatever. I mean, people, they say they have a definition for what is success for them. They say the success is from the soul level. They will find each other and they will meet together and they will be the change. That's what I hear about. I don't think that for me, it's not all that helpful when I see what's going on out there and I say, I don't want more from them. It's more helpful for me to say, where do I meet the people, or that I believe, that I have got the trust in me, that I can find that people will cross my path, or I will cross their path. They have a level of what is success. Success is to live a life full-hearted, out of my soul, acting and listening to my body, and to be in service.
Yes. Can I say something? I'm thinking from these books I've read, and I think this is right, that we have to be better than ourselves, that competition is not needed. And we have to work with others, and with others only in cooperation we can go, I don't know, better. But if I may say one digression, I was thinking before, when I talk with people, I feel pain when someone said, I am, you are. And when someone said me, you are this. I don't know. I don't know what is your experience, but I feel pain. I feel the best when we said we are. I feel good. But when someone said me, you are, you are, I don't know, I feel pain. Like that there is, that we are not one. It's over. This is my experience.
I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, my thoughts on
Ariana, I was
I think-
hearing.
Go ahead, Anne.
No, I
Sorry,
have.
I heard that okay, it's like separate. It's a judgment, isn't it? Like they're seeing someone over there. But I have another model. It's a sort of a silly example, what Mirko was talking about, but I know it's about being valued. What I'm experiencing from Mirko is about being valued. And it's always really hurt me as well. And I realize I have to value myself. So anyway, I have one experience. I went to Ireland one Christmas, and in this pub, this local pub, we're in a little village, they had a fancy dress party for New Year. So I dressed up in the fancy dress, and everybody dressed up in the fancy dress. And the lady who ran the pub, she gave all of us a prize for our fancy dress. And you know, I didn't know anything about any books those days, but it did something to my heart to receive. She gave me a little brass bell. I still have it in Ireland, a little brass bell. And she said, that's for you, it's your prize for your fancy dress. It's so great. I'm so delighted you came. And I just thought that was just such a lovely model to value everybody, and everybody gets the prize. And I had another experience of that where they had it was to do with the Herb Society, and I went to their meeting, annual conference, and they had you buy tickets, you know, for the winning tickets, you know, prizes, but they gave everyone a prize. So I got a heart that makes it makes noise when you shake it. And so everyone got a prize because they made sure everyone got a prize. I really like this model because everybody feels so warmly welcomed and loved. Loved, I think, is the answer. To feel loved and included is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yes, because the last thing, because this word success is for me, we have to redefine this word, because Neale often says that when he talked with God, the most important message was your life is not about you. So I have experienced this in my life. I have had some success, but it doesn't bring me happiness, because when you have success as we normally intended, and other lose, I don't find anything happy in this model that is our model in nearly everything, economy, in relationship, because for many reasons we think that someone has to lose. This is our problem with success. But our life, this book say in all the way that the soul is leading the path. Talk about the path of the soul, and we are still in the realm of the mind, of the body. We don't. In this moment, we are. Come si dice? We have had a pandemic, but I think that I hoped that was an opportunity to become one. But what I see is that we are still fighting, we are still competing for everything. We are not creative in this. We are repeating all the old ways, and the soul is creative, is positive, and the purpose, the only thing that matters, what one desire, we have read a minute ago, is to express and experience the greatest version, the new version, recreate, but we are not recreating. This is the problem. I don't see new ideas all around. I don't see anyone in any field, any leader is telling anything new. This is what I see. Every day we wake up and we expecting the same thing forever. We need, probably Neale is one of the fewest person that has new ideas. Like your life is not about you.
Mm.
This is a new idea.
Mirko, what if when we have sometimes to search on other places? Because I think if there are so many thousands and organizations and grassroots and everything is on the way. There is Ken Wilber and there are so many thinkers on the way. We can go and follow or work with them or connect with them.
Yeah.
I think if we go to the media and go the ordinary media, you're right. I don't see much change. But if we go to three alternation or other ways, there is much going on in this time. There is so much going on. I think never before. I mean, that's what I feel at the moment. So I think if we complaining that things are not changing is only dragging us out of energy, but seeing or trying to see that there are many people have similar longings, or they long for similar things as I do or we do, that it's more helpful for me and it's more uplifting, because otherwise it takes me down, it makes me sick, it makes me desperate, it gives me, it takes me my joy away. But I think all the movements they are done on humanities team and all this, they very much try to find ways and have got a place where people can connect on different levels. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, you have to look in a different direction. You're looking at like the people in power and saying nothing's changing. And you're looking at a definition of success that's coming from that old paradigm. And, you know, we are the ones who have to change that, and we start in our own lives. A kind of funny story that I thought of, because you said even in our relationships, people are on that winning and losing paradigm. I had this boyfriend once, and we were having an argument, and it was not going well because it never did. And finally, he said to me, okay, fine. You are 100% right, and I am 100% wrong. And I said, so we see the problem, because what I'm looking for is more of a 50-50 allocation here. You know, I'm willing to take 50% of the problem in any problem without argument. But like, you got to take your share and you got to do your share. And I think that's the mentality you're talking about, is that zero-sum game mentality. And that is the old paradigm that is on its way out, even though we're still stuck in it in a lot of ways. But there is this energy, like Rami's talking about, the new paradigm people, and that includes everyone in this meeting, or you wouldn't be here, who are looking to create a more cooperative model where we recognize the oneness. So it's like, the example I like is, you know, please, I hope the words don't offend anybody, but like, if we are all atoms in the body of Christ, and I'm talking Christ consciousness, not a human, then like, if my toe hurts, do I not care because that's just my toe? If someone cuts off my finger, am I like, well, it's just my finger, I don't need it? No. If we are all atoms in the body of existence, then something that hurts anyone hurts me. And that's what you're talking about. You feel that. And the model that we've inherited is messed up. And we are the change makers who are trying to birth the new paradigm. And so we need to keep our focus on the right direction. You know, the leaders are not necessarily going to wake up tomorrow where we want them to be, but that's why we are working at, you know, the grassroots level and putting the consciousness out there and things are changing, although slower than we wish. And now I'm going to step off my soapbox.
Yes.
Yes,
I
would
didn't
like
want,
to
I
say,
didn't,
yeah,
I
yes,
didn't want,
yes. Yes,
Ariana, you go.
may I say only one sentence? I will be very short. I would like to say that this paradigm, let's say paradigm, is really changing also in economic theory. There is that there are no more competition, but there every business has to be to the well-being of all included, and I think that the future generation will be teach with this, not competition, but that equal must be equally distributed the well-being of one transaction and any business. Yes, only this I wanted to say.
Thank you. And Mirko, you wanted to say real quick?
only want to say that I didn't want to be pessimistic, or because I know that there are many cooperative examples, etc. But I only want to say that we now have to demonstrate, as the book say, to demonstrate divinity. So this meeting is a demonstration for me of oneness in a little sense, but what I see in my everyday life experience where I am now in Italy is not my area, but I see every day fighting between people for everything. This is what I see. This is a problem, a cultural problem. I know that in the world there are many good examples, but this area is very challenging. So we will see what we can demonstrate with this one desire.
Thank you. And I just wanted to thank everybody. And Ariana, I didn't mean to abruptly cut you off. I don't think I said thank you, but thank you. And this has been a very, very good discussion, I think. And Romy just typed me in. So we create a lot of islands in coherence. What if we create a lot of islands in coherence throughout the day?
Yeah, I think we experience what Mirko said. I also agree a lot in the outside. It's like it's still the old model, but I just try to, even by these meetings, by engaging me in different projects, and so they become more and more, and we get stronger and stronger if we do this every day. As some of us drink a coffee every day, we do every day something to connect with and do it in meditation. And so I think we will become stronger and stronger, and it will have a big effect, and it will give an effort also in our outside. And it's more fun, it's more joy.
It is. And on that note, you're going to be the last one for the day. I'm going to, first of all, thank every one of you. All brought up really good points. And it just gets my brain going. I love this day. Sundays are just great. Not that my brain doesn't work other times. The rest of the week, I'm lost. Anyways, Mary, would you like to do a quick closing for us?
Sure. Quick closing. I saved this for the closing. Success. You know, I think we all have to go in and find our definition of success, and this chapter helps us with that. And I think someone, and I don't Anne Darby was talking about the prizes she got at those parties. And it makes us feel seen and validated and loved. Little things like that, to be seen and validated and loved. Isn't that like really what success is on a certain level? And so what I was thinking about, there's a poem by Hafiz, and I don't have it memorized, but it's something about everybody. It's like we're walking through the streets, hungry, starving for love, right? So why not be the one with the full moon in your eyes for every person you meet? That's the line from that poem. So as we go through our week and we're working on being the change we want to see, as they say, being these new paradigm people who feel the oneness, even when it's hard, we can still go, wait a second, there's oneness here, even if I'm having trouble seeing it right now. And of course, in Miracles says, maybe if love is lacking in a situation, it's because we're the ones who are supposed to bring the love to that situation. So like the Hafiz poem says, be the one with the full moon in your eyes as we go about this week, looking at the people starving for love and validation and acceptance, and being that kind presence as much as we can, and for ourselves too, just holding the world and its inhabitants in that loving space as much as we can. And I think that helps to shift the energy. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll
Thank
see
you.
each other next week, same time, same bat channel. And I love you all.
Nanette,
Yes.
one quick thought.
Yes.
Because you brought up Global Oneness Day, and I know it's months away, but the 24th this year happens to be on Sunday.
Well, we're actually doing it over a week's period of time,
Okay,
but I doubt, I mean, I can imagine there'll be probably a conflict.
right. That's, yeah.
We won't probably meet
We
on that.
probably won't meet. That's what I wanted to just get out there for people
Yeah.
to have in their heads.
Yeah, correct. And or we could all sit together and watch Global Oneness Day together and just go on with our thought processes in the commercial time.
Right.
Anyway, all right. I love you all. We'll see each other next week. And thank you again, Robin, for joining us. We're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone. Lovely. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Robin, also bye.
Bye.